Hello, everybody. Welcome to another daily dose of game news and all that good stuff. And as always, also published on Rumble and on Patreon for extra support, any kind of updates and such. Usually, I got about on Twitter X. And later today, we'll have for this week the latest episode for Midnight Suns. And just a quick reminder that I already have some completed gameplay series here, given that 1080p are the older ones and 4K are the most recent ones. So yeah, I think that's it for the channel stuff. News. Got more layoffs here. Again, coming from Xbox, from Activision Blizzard um, portion of the company. We will continue to see this. And I said at the time there is going to be a lot of double duplicated positions and from the acquisition itself, and it's basically what it's happening in a lot of places here. I would assume that also they will try to cut the fat off, hopefully on the acronym mafia positions there and the consultancies and all that stuff there. But yeah, 400 from mobile gaming divisions of the company, which located in Santa Monica and Irvine. I think most of these positions are based on California, which to a certain extent, uh, I'm a little bit exaggerating here. Is always good to have these people, these crazy cuckoo people, um, get out of the industry because they are not heading anything. But yeah, it eliminates redundancies among the staff there. They already laid off around 1,000 people last year from Novato, Forza City, Southern California. Again, it's part of the same state of California here. Yeah, jobs eliminated. Again, this goes across the board here, from accountants, software engineers, the director of HR for World of Warcraft, artists, game producers, and many more. Jobs eliminated weren't exclusively junior roles either, as game director and vice president were also on the list of those being laid off from Activision Blizzard. Again, that's why I think that might be some, again, trim off some fat there on the company. It was bound to happen. People that thought this wouldn't happen, they were completely delusional. When especially in this huge merger and acquisitions kind of a thing here, it's always happened. Might take a little bit more time in some cases than others, but it always happens. It doesn't make sense. Again, a corporation is a it has fiduciary duties to be profitable, especially for the shareholders. And if you have extra people or having two or three people doing the same exact job where there is no need to do to have those extra positions to do the same job, that they will be cut off. I just hope that the people that are maintained are the people uh, more proficient at that position, or the best person for the job there, and they are just cutting off the less productive or the less able person for that position, regardless of whatever you want to think. Again, meritocracy for me, it's a must-have, given that if you perform well and you do your job diligently and rigorously, I think you should be able to get that position or maintain that position and be on waiting list for promotion, something like all those lines there, than just because you think in a certain way outside of what the work ethic's supposed to be. But yeah, it's a huge discussion in that sense. But yeah, and again, more layoffs will come from Xbox division or the gaming division from Microsoft, um, being from Activision Blizzard or any other parts of the gaming division. It will continue to happen until they think there enough people are laid off so they can work on the profit margins there. But yeah, this will continue to happen. For good and for bad, it will happen. On Valve, we got interesting news here. As of today, again, this is coming from yesterday, late at night, at least from my time. Millions of Steam users woke up to a new notice from Valve saying that the Steam subscriber agreement has been updated, removing a requirement that disputes must go to arbitration rather than court. And according to a legal expert, this is a huge win for Steam users, although most who have a dispute never take Valve to court. Again, given its games, I don't see an issue. The main issue that I could see going for arbitration or something like that, I think can be solved usually through Valve customer support. They usually tend, from my perception, they are pretty good on that side. And if you have a good customer support, you avoid going to or arbitration or taking something to court there. um, the only thing that I might see taking things to court is, for example, game libraries or blocked users for no reason at all, something like that. I think that's the main reason, because usually, given that the tools that Steam offers, for example, for hacked accounts or something like that, I think they're pretty decent. Um, Other than that, I don't see, at least for sure, I'm missing something, but I don't see anything that I might, at least from my point of view, having any kind of issues so far. I never had any issues using Steam by buying games. I never needed to do any kind of refund. So, but I think the process is very straightforward. They are pretty good. Even, for example, what happened, I don't know, with Concord and all that jazz, and even with Redfall, or even I think there was another game that was shut off, and they we got I covered yesterday, the day before. The refunds for that were pretty streamlined. Again, I think usually they offer a very good service for in for their customers, but it's good to see that again. Usually, a lot of companies do this, which is forcing any dispute into arbitration, which is when a third party reviews the issue and try and resolve it outside the legal system. Usually, it's not a judge or something that or any kind of legal system. They try to avoid using that process. That's what arbitration is supposed to be. But yeah, this new update from Valve also removes the class action waiver, meaning that class action lawsuits from a party with with the same complaint are now able to proceed, which is always good. If by any chance something big happens and there is a reasoning to activate a class action lawsuit against Steam or Valve in this case, this can be used. But yeah, it's good news overall. Again, it's just strengthened their own position in terms of the competition regarding other like Epic Game Store and other virtual stores, game stores there, which is basically it's this digital distribution storefronts, which is basically what Valve and to a certain degree Steam caters to. And I think this is it's good. It's a good move. I think it will build a little bit more confidence on the customer side, because again, it lends itself to be more friendly to the customer side there than the other storefronts that we have at this moment. But yeah, this is good news. In terms of games, we got God of Ragnarok PC Port as a few options to scale beyond the PlayStation 5 version. Again, this is basically the Digital Foundry review. Usually, in this kind of port stuff, I usually wait for Digital Foundry because usually they go very in depth on their analysis there. Even though the PC port as it is definitely solid, offers few options to scale visual settings beyond the PlayStation 5 version, and sometimes looks worse than it as well. I watched basically the entirety of the video, and yeah, basically this is a pretty good sum up here. Even though again, as a default stuff with high resolutions, it has relatively smooth performance here on the game itself. They got a good option there with shader compilation stuff. It takes a while the first time, but I think it is done very well. There is very few um, instances of that shader compilation stuttering there, like a couple in the first few hours that the guy played here and did analysis. But yeah, the problem is visual fidelity and improvement regarding the PlayStation version there. I think from the first game you had the ability to like ramp up the visual quality to a certain degree. But yeah, the port in this case in this game is not that good in that sense. There is some like effects and I don't know, foliage and fog effects. They are way better than PS5 than on PC, even at everything at ultra and everything maxed out. It doesn't happen on PC. I don't know. Hopefully, the next patches will come out will solve the issue. But yeah, the port itself seems to be solid enough to be playable. But it's one of those games that I'm not going to play, mainly because the fact that it has some DEI injection into it. I'm not sure where, but I know there is something on story wise. I think there is like a character that is a black character, but according to mythology should be not a black character, because Norse mythology usually doesn't have a lot of people of color or POCs, or any kind of gender fluidity and all that shit. But even I saw something with Nexus Mod removing that thing. Again, Nexus Mod is taking some positions that are not very good. I think people will need to start gathering in more of, again, Steam's workshop. I think if that thing is if the mods are on Steam Workshop, I don't think Steam blocks any kind of things regarding in that sense. So I think people, if they have the Steam version of game, will go forwards Steam Workshop. And I think even the yeah, if this continues, it's not nothing related to this game at this precise rant here. But yeah, I think Steam Workshop to a certain sense is better than Access Mod in the fact of trying to cancel modders. And again, it's another rant all by itself. But yeah, it's mainly the fact that PSN linkage there, even on a single player game. Yeah, Sony is screwing up the pooch, and given that they will need every cent that they can get out of it, just out of the front, blocking 180 zones, areas, regions. It's not good for business. Again, trying to inflate PSN accounts doesn't give you anything, because you can register for free a PSN account, and you have to give information, which I think you have to give ID and everything to register with a PSN, which is not good by itself. I don't advise that. But yeah, I don't see any advantage to that, because given that it's a PC game, you can play online for free. While on PlayStation, you need to have a PlayStation subscription to play online multiplayer on the games that they have there. So it's not a good thing. Again, and the fact that it is a free count, it just bolster. In the long term, it only gets worse there, because if you have 1 million PSN accounts and only 500,000 have the subscription active, if you inflate the numbers by the PSN linkage, make people to create, you will start having, like for example, 2 million PSN accounts, and continue to only have 500,000 people using the subscription, because PC players, uh, if they choose to use the PSN account, buy the games and use the PSN account leakage, they will only use the PSN account leakage. They will not buy your subscription plan there. I don't think where it might happen like 0.1 0.00% 1% of people that might go for it, one in 1,000 maybe, but it doesn't in your numbers it will not look good for sure in the long term there. But yeah, we'll have to see how this goes. In terms of Final Fantasy 16, the PC update introduces performance improvements, Bluetooth connectivity, DualSense controllers, and more, which is good to see. They're working on it. Final Fantasy 16 seems to be an excellent port, and a very good game from the reviews there. And yeah, game stability, controller options, so support for DualSense and DualShock controllers, which is good. Besides the game stability improvement, updates resolve issues that frame rate drops under unspecified conditions, which is good to see that supposedly we will not get any kind of drops there. What else? Fixes character graphics not displaying properly in certain scenes, some UI issues, incorrect text display errors in the ending credits, and unexpected crashing issues under certain conditions. Okay, so they patched a little bit the game, which is good. Hopefully, they will continue to improve there. And from what I've seen, the port seems pretty solid. Again, solid in the sense that it's playable, no huge issues except for the ones that were patched for now. Then we got some first things here for Celebrate. They got a new patch also, or update, adds quality of life feature and visual improvements. Again, they seem to have improved cloth physics, so skirts physics now they can lift up. Again, it's a little bit of the first trap, but yeah, this is still on PlayStation 5. Hopefully they are doing what they can to improve on the PlayStation 5 and port it out for PC. Again, I'm more interested in this game in the sense if it is like a good action game than anything else, even though it's always appealing to watch some sexy women, but what can you do? Um, Again, the patch includes the following updates. And you can still enjoy the summer event at the Oasis by turning on off the summer event content toggle, summer event background music. You can mark pins on the maps by pressing the square button. You can use favorites feature on Eve's equipment. New item ammo package. Purchase confirmation pop-up will be shown when spending over 15,000 gold to prevent any unintentional spend, and visual improvements of conflicts between Eve's body. I think they have a little bit of new body physics. I don't know what they were doing there, but it seems to be improved from what I've seen on Twitter and everything. And then again, they've added various other bug fixes there. Sorry about my reading skills today. I'm a little bit brain farting all over the place, but yeah, seems they did some interesting things with the body physics, which can be applied to other games. I'm really not sure. And I'm not sure if they used Unreal Engine 5 here for this game. I don't remember which one it was. Yeah, I'm not sure. But it seems that even the boob physics is single boobs. Yeah, I can see the difference now. Okay, so yeah, it interacts individual boobs. But okay, it's another conversation for another day. That's interesting. Then we got this one hand-drawn 2D action, Nine Souls. Sorry, I always mispronounce this because I read the U between O and L. Seems pretty good game. I managed to catch this one in a deal. Catch in the manner of not I didn't buy it, but I did manage to see this game. Very interesting. It's kind of a Metroidvania, but with a more secular light combat kind of a thing. It's more about deflecting and parrying things. Seems to have overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. And it's now coming to consoles, so even later gen stuff there, PS4 and Xbox One, on November 26th. Again, this seems to be a pretty good game. It's a hand-drawn, and you got a meow meow to play with, which is always a plus here. Then lastly, we got this the continuation in Ubisoft here. Again, this is covering a lot of the legendary drops video here. I watched this video a couple of days ago. I really enjoy the videos that he does because he, better than me and better than a lot of people here, he expresses the ideas that we have in a very in a more eloquent fashion that, at least from my English capabilities and vocabulary, he does really put out very well and expresses a lot of the ideas and the thoughts that we have that sometimes we cannot express so eloquently as he does. Um, And he talks about here and the fact that he managed to get around of having some Ubisoft developers contact him and exchange ideas and some Q&As here. But yeah, my overall thing is promoting his video because he really goes in depth. He usually goes around 20 to 25 minutes or around that time frame when he does these kind of videos. Even though his main thing is doing live streams, and he does very extended live streams, I think 7 hours or so. But when he does this kind of videos, I really think this guy is going to be huge in a couple of months because he's consistent, he's very principled on his own approach, very consumer focused in terms of the philosophy when approaching these films. And he passes the ideas that he has and the ideas that we have as customers and gamers. He passes very well, and he can introduce the ideas and express those ideas very eloquently, not being inflammatory in the sense that it's just throwing names out of the hat. There is he does excellent videos, and I think he the first time that I saw him was through some reacts that Asmongold does on this YouTube clip stuff there. And I was very interested, and I start watching his videos, and he's very excellent in that sense. It's kind of the benchmark that eventually I want to achieve when I have when I have more time to be focused on the YouTube stuff there. But yeah, at this moment, I cannot do any livelihood from YouTube and doing full time. But yeah, it's one of those things that if I have full time, it's something that I'm aiming for, that level of quality. So I think it's a good benchmark there. The video there, it talks about the Ubisoft as a whole, but specifically in certain aspects with Assassin's Creed Shadows and the culture behind that. But yeah, and the continuation that the industry and the echo chambers that they live on, and the little bubbles that they think that they have, and the disregard basically for the customer market, which are the toxic gamers, which is vast majority of people that buy the games and they express their opinions that are usually counter to the ideas that those people on this developer upper management usually have, or they're even in sometimes with the developer themselves. But yeah, we have a lot of people that think like us, that just want to make an excellent game without recurring to checklists or mandates by ESG checklists or Jedi checklists, or those checklists, and that too. I think I already touched this. When you start doing stuff, a creative job mandated through checklists, it will start removing the creativity of that project. Again, I think creativity can express itself throughout certain constraints, in the sense that you have to have a pretty specific goal that you want to achieve with the project, with the creative project. You have to put some boundaries. But when you start micromanaging creativity, the creativity will dissipate and disappear, because then you're just putting an Excel spreadsheet to a certain degree, and just trying to make things that cross field, that specific field, or that specific micromanaging of the supposedly creative work, in this case games. But yeah, again, I really do recommend subscribing to Legendary Drops and checking his videos when he launches. It's not the daily stuff. I think he focused more on live streams. But yeah, I wanted to wrap up the news part here with this thing here. But yeah, check them out. The video is here on the article. And again, everything that I covered, I will always leave the links on the description below. So let's go for some gaming deals. We still have Bioshock the collection. Again, free games, the first two, the remastered versions, and all the DLC associated with it, 80% off. We got Midnight Suns, again, excellent game, having a blast with this one. I managed to claim the base game on Epic Game Store a few months ago, so but it's still a recommendation at this price point. I think it's a pretty good deal from what I played. We got also Spiritfarer Farewell Edition, 75% off. Again, if you're not sure if it is something for you, we got the demo here to try it out. We got Dredge, 40% off on the Deluxe Edition, which is good. We got Pacific Drive Deluxe Edition is still 40% off. We got Near Replicant. This is the remake version, 60%, and then the sequel, Near Automata, 60% off also. Then on GOG, we got the Plague Tale Innocence, 80%, and Requiem, 60% off, which is seems pretty good. And then finally, Deus Ex Human Revolution, DC version, 80% off, and then the sequel, Mankind Divided. This is digital deluxe edition, so all the playable content there, 80% off also. And yeah, basically this is it for today. I'm going to wrap up here. From my plug on my Patreon for extra support. The extra support at this moment in time is for me to get a better storage solution so I can have backups of the stuff that I do for my clients, and of course some extra space that I for the videos that I make for the channel. And with all that said, I hope you have a wonderful day. And I will see you in the next one. So until then, Kunamy Master out.